Former teen mom living on the couple's boat, ex-boyfriend David Eason of Jenelle Evans, looked irate when he received a summons for a domestic violence protective order. David, 35, was served on Tuesday by local sheriff's deputies on two distinct North Carolina cases brought against him by his estranged wife, Jenelle, 32, according to images and videos that were exclusively obtained by the U.S. Sun. As he spoke to the two armed deputies standing on the pier next to the boat he has been living on for the previous 2 months, David was seen on the video thrashing his arms and shrugging his shoulders. David was served with Jenelle's complaint for separation as well as a complaint for a domestic violence protective order, a person with knowledge of the cases said. According to the source, Jenelle has requested a hearing to obtain a civil no-contact order after her prior request for an emergency protection order was turned down. According to the source, part of the reason Jenelle's first emergency request was turned down was because Jace already had an order of protection against David. Thus, this one would not be considered emergent. According to the source, one of the reasons Jenelle filed for this domestic violence restraining order was because her ex-husband, David, is accused of committing a felony, attacked Jenelle's 14-year-old son Jace in September, and refused to follow a no-contact order. Jenelle also charges David of acting in an intimidating manner. The basis of it is David's unwillingness to comply with certain provisions of not only that criminal, no-contact order for Jace, but his harassing behavior. It's called a domestic violence protective order by statute, but it's essentially a no-contact order, and the basis of hers is due to harassing behavior, said the insider. Both sides will have the chance to offer arguments and supporting documentation during the hearing. After that, a court will decide whether or not there are good reasons to issue the order. One of the determining factors is whether or not Jenelle feels A, that she or any of the children that reside with her primarily are in fear of the substantial risk of bodily injury, or B, be in fear of continued harassment as alleged in the complaint, they stated. Around 12:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the two sheriff's deputies who were serving David at his boat seemed to go over the papers with him and go through their own copies before explaining what they were serving him. David took to TikTok right away after the tragedy to share his thoughts on what had happened. On TikTok, David informed fans that Jenelle had attempted to file for a restraining order. She objects to me discussing her private matters. He remarked cynically, "Well, guess what? You made that decision for yourself." In addition, he pledged to challenge her motion in court. "I'm bringing all the information, honey. When we get to the courthouse," he continued, "I'm bringing all the receipts, and you ain't getting no refund." According to a source who previously spoke with the U.S. Sun, David was only meant to be residing on the boat for a few weeks while he and Jenelle worked out the future of her oldest son, Jace, following CPS's dismissal of their case. Jenelle reclaimed custody of Jace in the middle of February, after the teenager was taken by CPS due to his claims that David had strangled him. After an altercation in September 2023, David was charged with felony violence by strangulation, and a stay-away order was placed against him for Jace. Because of this, even after Jenelle was granted custody back from CPS, he and Jace were unable to live together. After the Child Welfare Department dropped its charges against the couple, Jenelle had to arrange David's housing while the situation was resolved. That ultimately didn't happen, the insider claims, because Jenelle became envious when David uploaded videos of himself drinking at a bar with a woman, possibly the bartender, in the background. On February 23, Jenelle filed for separation. Jenelle included everything from David's 2019 admitted murder of their pet dog Nugget to his current felony accusation of strangling her son in her separation complaint. After a CPS investigation into both instances, she briefly lost custody of some or all of her children. She also asked for full custody of their 7-year-old daughter Ensley in her plea. Before David sees Ensley, Jenelle wants the courts to assess David's mental health. It is in the best interest of the minor child that plaintiff be granted primary physical custody of the minor child, and that defendant's visitation and/or custodial time be predicated on a mental health assessment to ensure his fitness and ability to care for the minor child, Jenelle wrote in her complaint. Jenelle filed a complaint against David on Tuesday, claiming that his history of erratic behavior and substance abuse made it difficult for him to manage Ensley. Jenelle claimed in the explosive papers that David's excessive alcohol use and his short temper create a negative environment for the minor child, and as a family, plaintiff feels as though they have to walk on eggshells around defendant, as his mood swings are unpredictable and vary in their intensity.